Let's give you a practical example. Let's take the deadlift and the hips, for example. One way, the scenic route, is trying everything, reducing the weight, putting you in weird positions to make your back look straight, which will crumble the second you want to move actual and decent weights, right? This is the scenic route. This is the small cat approach. This is the functional light training approach. So you're not hurting people in your functional training facility. This is one way to do it, but you're not going to get progress out of it. You're gonna feel safe, but you're not gonna be safe once you up the stress. A different approach is, okay, what do we need in a deadlift? Which muscles need to fire to achieve a neutral pelvis plus a neutral spine? This is the actual goal of doing those exercises. Okay, great. The difference between a regular barbell deadlift and the stuff that we're starting with is very, very simple. I focus on, okay, neutral pelvis, getting the glutes, and especially the glute max in first. So those are the only two things I care about while teaching you to pick stuff up off the floor. All right, tame the horses, Greg. Great. What about the barbell deadlift? So the barbell is on the floor with plates. So the barbell forces you into a certain position. And if you have bad mobility or flexibility, you have to adjust your body around it. That's just the way it goes, because the barbell is not going to come higher up to you, or you have mobility restrictions just going down. The nature of a barbell deadlift means your hip is here, wherever it is in terms of your mobility, and your knees are gonna have to be in front of the barbell, right? So think about it like this. This position, knees forward, not a bad position per se, but it will just emphasize you using your quads more than your glutes or your hamstrings. But my goal is to teach you how to use your glutes first to get to neutral pelvis. So this is not a perfect exercise for me to start with. Whatever equipment we're going to use, we start with whatever with sandbags. What I care about is your knees being above your ankles, not because of the position, but this will give your glutes the best chance to start going. There's no reason to do deadlift, and 99% of people starting to train won't feel the glute max doing deadlifts. This is pointless, right? So how can we adjust what we all want to achieve, meaning glute max working for normal people? It's super simple. Keep your knees above your ankles and start with your hips up higher. This is basically how we start teaching everything, no matter the exercise, whether that's you picking up a sandbag, doing chains or rope pulls, or even using a barbell, right? Get into the neutral pelvis and using your glute max first. I'm not saying this is where we're going to stop. Yes, eventually I want to bring you to that barbell deadlift position with the knee shooting forward while still using your glutes, but it's not working the other way around. I cannot shoot my knees forward and I have no clue what I'm doing and I don't feel my glute max, and I just have to do it more and hope for the best. And at some point, the glute max is going to magically appear and work. In reality, what we see is most people are going to use the quads. Most people are going to use the lower backs. So that's where issues will arise. So that is the principle we want to teach, rather than going from teaching exercises towards, okay, what positions do I need to be in order to use the right muscles that are actually needed to keep you, whatever, healthy and sane.
And what does this mean now from a practical standpoint? Would you have, because I'm asking because that was actually the second question we had, was someone who's struggling with their deadlift, and whenever they kind of like up the weight, they feel their back. And so because you mentioned that you would take like a sandbag and mimic that kind of like movement pattern, but would this be something like a clean and press, or for instance, like a sandbag, put it on a box to get that movement? Maybe some tangible things that this person can do.
Absolutely. So the main point here is this is not my idea. I just watched a lot of videos of strongmen and toddlers, because strongmen lift the most weight and toddlers have no fucking clue what they're doing while they're moving. So I think that's a great combination. So shooting your hips up while keeping your knees over your ankles is the principle that toddlers use once weight gets heavy and what strongmen use once they have to move heavy weights. So this is the principle, or this is the main idea behind it. If you want to get your deadlift up, your barbell deadlift up, it's super simple. You can either start using a trap bar and doing deadlifts off the floor. Just start with your hips up higher, knees above ankles, and make sure once you actually lift the bar up, the trap bar up, your knees are neither going to shoot forward nor back. Just simply keep them where they are and bring your hips forward. This is how you learn how to.
Could you
Yeah.
explain for someone, because I know what the trap bar looks like, but what is the difference between kind of like from a movement pattern when you're using a trap bar versus a normal barbell? I mean, I know that the hands are somewhat different, but um, why do you think about the trap bar?
Yes, so it's not the trap bar, but it's the way you grip it. A with a neutral grip, and you can grip higher. That's the main point.
Okay.
Because reaching down low to the barbell that is literally set at a certain height, you have to adjust and compromise your position and tension that you're going to use. So the trap bar, because it's generally higher, or the grip at least is
Mhm.
higher, this will give you an easier time practicing keeping your knees over your ankles and your hips up higher in order to get the big muscle glute max going. Same principle with whether that's a sandbag. Sandbag is usually higher than you can grip a barbell. So it's two-folded. Once you can create more tension towards the inside, which will make you feel your big muscles
Mhm.
faster. And two, you can start up higher. So that means, yes, you could technically, and that's what's mostly being done, you could also use a barbell with, for example, putting it on plates, right? But you only covered one of the two things I wanna
Mhm.
focus on. Yes, you're up higher, so you can shoot your hips up higher, but the point is the weight is still outside of your body. So you have a harder time. It's still possible, but you have a harder time creating tension towards the inside. So you need more focus, you need more time, you need more time to practice it. The only thing I'm looking for is give you the fastest progress possible. So that's why it's not my first choice to start with an elevated barbell deadlift.
Okay, and if you were to start with a sandbag, what are your recommendations?
I don't like doing like stiff leg deadlift with a sandbag, because this is unnatural in my head. The sandbag is natural, but whenever I lift something up to my knees, I have to bring it somewhere. Maybe this is just my weird inner feeling of satisfying getting it up somewhere. So we use the sandbag clean, either press or sandbag on a box, whatever it is. You just stand in front of a box, the sandbag is in between your feet, you grab it outside, you create tension towards the inside, you lift it up to your knees stay over the ankles, your hips up the horses, your hips are up high, you lap it, you bring your hips forward, you place it on the sandbag, and you have practice to learn to keep a neutral pelvis while using your glute max the most, so you will improve over time.